Okay. Action items for last week, there was just checking the Linux bot, but I can see Linux bot has been good about yelling at people. So I don't know if you did something, Derek, or if it just started behaving.
No,
There
well,
you
I
go.
reached out to Chris and said it wasn't behaving, and then he made it behave. I was like, cool.
Perfect. You did your job,
Yeah.
and then Chris did his job. Fantastic. All right, cool. Because yeah, that is all working now. Seen it, I think, at pretty much all the repos now. The CLA bots there complaining about stuff. Cool. That was that only action item there. VA changes progress update. Uh, I'll be the first to admit it's been a slow month because I've been busy doing customer stuff. Thankfully, that'll start ramping down, and I should get back to actually doing some of that stuff, the V8 changes and stuff. I guess I'll thank you guys as well, actually, for just the PRs and stuff that you guys have been putting in, and even just helping like review a couple things here and there. It's been super helpful. Keeping things moving. But yeah, no big changes or progress updates there. Nothing's changed as far as the plan for what's going in there and stuff either. That's kind of it. But yeah. Uh, Shared concourse task. I just threw that in there, Derek, because
No, that's fair because yeah, we just got it was Behan, I think that
yeah, Behan.
recently.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
he just pinged in the CF Slack there.
And I'll go update it right after after this conversation. But
Cool.
yeah, the answer is no. There has not been progress because I've been distracted with normal day-to-day work things. But that is sufficiently freed up at the end of a cycle just about last week. So I do expect to have um, progress on it this month, and I would hope have kind of the first um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Beta testing availability that we had planned for with the runtime working group of being able to try out a pipeline. Um, I don't expect migration to happen this month, but I do expect that. So I will update that in that thread. But nothing has progressed other than the plan, and the plan has not been executed. So the plan continues to stay where it was.
Cool. Okay. Um, all right, I guess that's pretty much all the agenda items. I just want to shout out a couple interesting things that have popped up in the community recently that people might want to check out, maybe voice their opinion about and whatnot. There was one person who he's doing a big refresh of like the Concourse website, like just migrating it off of the booklet static site generator, which was made by Alex slash Vito many moons ago. Is
Mhm.
cool, but very much just a side project thing that he had done. But yeah, we're trying to move off to something else, ideally MK Docs, or MK Docs in the short term, and then if anyone knows what's going on with MK Docs, it's a bit unmaintained, but there's a successor that's already kind of sprung up from an organization there. So the site will eventually at some point get a facelift. No ETA on that, of course, but the guy I chatted with, the person there, his name was Kevin, um, and he has my full support with what he's doing. So he's got a PR open just in draft status in the docs repo, and you can check out what he's doing there. But it's like mid content wise, nothing's changing. Um, Going to make sure that there are redirects set up so that way any old links will always go to the appropriate page on whatever the new website is. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, that'll probably be a couple months before we land on publishing anything new. But yeah, that's happening. And then just something else that was something that I had thought of like many months ago, and then someone had posted a discussion about it just yesterday, pretty much. Actually, let me see if I can find it here. Probably. I think it'll be at top of discussions. I think it was under ideas. Yeah, this guy, support pickle configuration language. So yeah, this person, AP Hunt, posted this discussion, which just touched on a bunch of stuff on like, they're trying to figure out the best way to manage like extremely large pipelines and stuff, which is a pain I myself and I'm sure everyone else on this call has felt many a times. So they're using pickle configuration to, write the pipeline and then they just export it to YAML. So they're talking about like what would that look like if we added that support in. I had played around with some like a similar idea, but I was playing around with Q at the time. I ended up dropping it just because priorities wasn't the most important thing I could be working on and stuff. But if people have thoughts and stuff, I'd love for you guys to jump in here, share thoughts, ideas, and stuff. I kind of threw some quick thoughts down, but I've still been thinking about it since I posted this yesterday. Just because it's an interesting problem space, and I'm very hesitant on even trying to do something like what he's proposing here. The idea is interesting, trying to support another configuration language, but I don't know, it feels very almost like whack-a-mole-ish. And it's
Yeah,
like,
the
why?
consistency. Yeah. It's the
Yeah,
idea. I love the idea. It is. I do understand the scope that it brings on being uh
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. Like even
I
just,
think more I think more or less everyone at the moment is saving themselves, so everyone is doing a different type of processing and parsing for such large pipelines. So it would be nice to have something out of the box, but yeah, as you mentioned, it's a bit. It has to run through an RFC, I guess, because a lot of people might have different opinions on what should be used and how exactly to be processed.
Exactly. I haven't thought about configuration language in a very long time, other than just accepting whatever hand I'm dealt into the system, right? I'm going into, and picking a new horse, so to speak, feels like a good amount of time should go into that kind of RC about like which, if we're going to, um expand or replace, right? Even what would that mean? Or what are the right choices, right? Who's actually contenders for this? Pickle sounds
yep.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Pickle sounds interesting. It's very new. It only came out
Oh
last
no.
year. Yeah, but it's an Apple project, so there's people inside Apple doing it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean much because those people will
and
eventually leave Apple, and then it'll just like
and
sit
anything
there.
can come and go. Anything can come and go. It's just how long it takes to come and go, right? But
Ex exactly. And yeah, and there's so many interesting options if in this space too. Like I had only ever looked at Q personally, and I've never actually really used a configuration language like in any professional capacity, to be honest. But playing with Q was interesting for me. Then there's a whole bunch of others. Like there's actually like there's a thread. Oh, okay, I didn't post it here, but there's a thread in the Pickle repo of people discussing like it Pickle compared to other languages, and they listed like 6 or 8 other different ones. Like doll was one that came up. There's a whole other one too in CNCF called KCL as well. There's a configuration language inspired by Nick's configuration language. It's like it's endless. It's endless. And yeah, to all your guys' points, right? It's like how do you pick one? There's so many different opinions and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, it's interesting. Would love thoughts about it because I do agree. Would be like I have that urge to want something nicer out of the box to manage my big pipelines instead of like just cobbling tools together. Like it's definitely possible, of course, because I know like these guys, as they clearly said, it's like they're doing it. It's working for them. But yeah. Anyways,
mhm.
this was just an interesting thing that came up, and I was like, ah, yes, this this old problem. Because yeah, large YAML files are not fun. All right.
Code to YAML back to code, right? And it's like, wow, code is so annoying to write all the time. Let's just make a bunch of YAML files to let you configure all that code. And then it's like, wow, this YAML file is massive. We should write it in code. It's like, wait a second. Um,
The life cycle.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right. Does anybody else have anything else they wanted to bring up?
I have two small questions from our side that we're thinking of. So first of all, from my side, the RFC for the health endpoint, I'm trying to address. I addressed most of the comments that you and other people have contacted me with. So I was wondering if at maybe after V8 we can start thinking about this and whether we should build up some POC for this, so it can be easier to decide whether such an approach would be feasible for you as well. And the other question I had, you mentioned the migration to MKDocs. So we were thinking, as at the moment there's no API documentation out of the box for Concourse. Are you open to having it documented? Was it not done for any specific reason, or just nobody had time or resource to do that? Because from our side at the moment, we just go to the routes go and just figure out some stuff, but it would be nice to have some API documentation instead of that.
Yeah. So first question about the RC Health Hub endpoint. That sounds good. Yeah, review that come V8. It is on my list of things to like circle back to and review because it'll definitely be useful, and operator pains are definitely something that I want to keep making better for operators, people like you guys. So yeah, that sounds good after V8. And then yeah, the API, yeah, the historical reason for why it's never been documented is because we didn't want to officially like kind of support it and say that like, yes, this is a supported thing. Of course, in practicality, it is essentially like it is what it is. And like, of course, there are people like you, there are tons and tons of people out there using Concourse, poking the API in various ways. So like whether we document it or not, it's like it's implicitly like it is the way it is. So overall, I'm open to documenting it. Obviously, being able to just generate the documentation would probably be easiest, but yeah.
Yeah, I think documenting it isn't a risk at this point. I think we still probably in that description of the documentation, like want to leave ourselves some of the flexibility of making those changes, right? That we think might, especially at this point in the future, it's like, hey, there's enough stable versions out there, right? If we decide we need to go make a change for whatever these new sets of functionality features, all that kind of stuff
Hmm.
happen, I think that was the probably desire more than anything else, is to kind of give an implicit boundary. It's like, well, if I didn't tell you what to do, obviously I didn't make an explicit contract with you on it, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yep. Well said. Well
documenting
said.
is fine. You can already find it, right? It's not like it's secret. It's just not
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, but
every
guaranteed.
yeah.
maybe to elaborate a bit, the biggest pain that I have seen here with it not being documented is that currently a lot of people, for example, are trying to create some custom MCP servers or some other stuff, and they are like, which endpoint does that? Which endpoint does that? So you can always route them to the routes go, and they can understand for themselves. That's not a problem, but that brings the question, why isn't it documented, since it's anyway the information, as you mentioned, is already there, so it's not hidden, or the API is explicitly exposed for everyone to use. So my question was, I thought it was intentional. I just wanted to understand what was the intention. So there's no major blockers. You're open to this contribution, just yeah, in a bit, let's say you would need time to review it, and I guess again it's after V8 changes are in
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And again, it would be nice if we could like generate that page. We are transitioning like yeah, we're transitioning everything to Markdown. Hopefully there's, I don't know, some kind of tool out there that can take all those go routes and everything. Though I
There's
guess it
gotta
is
be.
a mix.
There's gotta be at
Yeah.
least something.
Yeah, there's
Whether or
gotta
not.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so we're not, like it's not like we don't change that API very often anyways, but it would be nice if we could just generate it straight from the code. But yeah, totally open to it. No blockers as far as that goes. We can do it, and yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
but
be
then
fine.
would it make sense if so? I guess it would be 10 times easier to do it in Markdown than in the current. I forgot the language, but for the documentation, but whatever. Yeah, it would be easier to do it in Markdown. So, is that something that maybe needs to wait for the MK docs migration, or?
Yeah. I would like. I guess you could figure out. Actually, yeah. Probably wait until we figure out
So
even if we're going to like MK docs or if we're going to because we might potentially jump straight to. I forget what it's called. I'm just gonna pull up the PR because Kevin and I talked about it in there.
for what it's worth, it would still also support Markdown, right? Whatever thing we're moving from.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's just like what like I don't know if we'll end up using like a plugin or something to render how it looks
Yeah.
on the page and stuff. Because yeah, there
So
was
all I wanted to say is I think it's not entirely unreasonable to find something that generates, Markdown in general automatically, and then have that push the content, not necessarily to the docs repo, right?
Yeah.
But maybe just, some other part, right? Like it's not unreasonable to just have that as an additional asset, kind of like sitting alongside Concourse that shifts a bit, right? That makes it a bit easier to read for humans. And then we'll figure
yeah,
out how to land that in the docs as that transitions.
yeah. Could potentially
Yeah,
have the mechanics there.
we can check at a certain time. So as I understand at the moment, maybe not have it visualized in the docs themselves, but have it as a document somewhere. And when the right time comes, we would just extend the documents with it. If that sums it up a bit. But yeah.
Yep. That's it. That's it. But yeah, and yeah, and yeah, relates to that. So MKDocs apparently is very unmaintained right now, or at least like it's kind of in a limbo state. So there's these other guys that make the material design theme for MKDocs, and they started a whole like kind of design company around it, and now they've spun off to like their because this has happened, they started making their own like framework basically that should be able to migrate MKDocs to this thing. We just don't know what that looks like and like the whole plugin system, what's going on there with stuff and stuff. But yeah, it's this thing called Zensicle. Anyways, so that's kind of the shifting ground that's happening over there. But okay. But yeah, API document stuff, that's good. If we can figure out mechanically how to auto-generate those into Markdown, even better. Is there anything else folks have? Nope. All right
From
then.
my side.
Oh, Histro, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was listening all the time.
Yeah.
You're good.
But yeah, sorry, did you have something you want to add? Or
No, good with it. Kalina already mentioned from our side everything we have on the table. So if we're able to clear some of those things out, I'm perfectly fine. And
okay.
happy.
Cool. All right. And I guess patch release for 7.14 to address the container D CVE that's out there. Hopefully should have that done today, hopefully is kind of the goal that I have in mind. But it'll be today or tomorrow at the latest, most likely. I just have to figure out what happened with Kate's Top Gun. I have an idea. I just haven't dove into it yet, but I have a pretty good idea of what's going on there. It's just with the Postgres chart and stuff. But yeah. All right.
By the way, thanks for adding the other fix for container. It would be useful to validate it at a larger scale for us instead of only locally. So at least we will know for V8 whether container is a bit more robust, so we can be confident with defaulting to it. So
Yeah,
all the better.
definitely. It's a good fix too. Was happy that came together so nicely and it wasn't even terribly complicated. It was good.
All Ivan's fault.
Thank you, Ivan. All right, guys. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll see you next month and we'll see you on GitHub. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.